Are we done? Good morning. How are you doing?
Good, good.
All right. Okay, guys. Sorry about the slight delay there. We'll just crack on with things. So, some alarm going off in the background, distracting me. All right. Good morning, everyone. Hope we're doing well, and hope you're in runners. Would be the way I would start this one. If you're not, don't worry, you're not alone because I'm not. Um, but we're not here to talk about me. Here to talk about the market. I know you're in a runner. You're holding nicely from yesterday's 69.50. No, actually, you re-entered at the 64, right? The 64 reclaim that was a bit of hard work to recover that level, but eventually got there.
No, I'm in from 55. I didn't take any of the reclaims or anything like that.
Oh, okay, excuse me.
Uh
My mistake
yeah,
there.
I'm just in from yesterday from 55ish or so from the failed breakdown yesterday morning. So
Yeah, so there was.
yeah, I mean that 6950 failed breakdown never got invalidated. I mentioned that a few times yesterday in the Discord that it essentially once it triggered it never was invalidated. It was just active
Right.
all day. So I'd just been sitting in that runner. Had to add back. I know it did drop down to 6940 at one point, which took out my 25% runner, so I had to kind of add that back. But once I added that back, that's been able to stay active essentially for the past 24 hours now.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, for me, I got in on the 50 FBD yesterday. Runner trailed out here, and then maybe should have re-engaged at this point when we wicked under and recovered it, but this just felt a bit choppy for me. So I actually engaged in some even worse chop up here on the reclaim of the 64 level. Um, but was able to get a level to level move out of that. But with it being just a smaller size second trade of the day for me, that doesn't give me as much margin to hold a runner. So on that one, I trimmed my runner because I didn't want it to eat too much of the profit on that trade. So that I find myself flat this morning. But basically, the active trades we've got right now are the 69.50 failed breakdown from yesterday. Multiple possible entries on that one. And then we've also had the 64 reclaim that triggered a couple of times right off the close. Never really invalidated. I mean, you would have got a nice level to level move out of that straight away. But the invalidation was really down here at the 50 level. And so it held. And then there was another trigger here in the London session, and if you'd missed that, you could have gotten in on these back tests. I was mulling it over right here, right around 6:30, or I get confused with the time zones, and I declined to take it. And obviously, I'm slightly regretting that now. But what I'm not going to do is chase. So I'm happy just to sit on my hands until the volatility comes in. So let's take a look and kind of see
And we
just.
might get some. I mean, we still have this Supreme Court ruling later this morning, so
Yeah, that's
I
the big
wouldn't be
thing.
surprised if we have a bit of a volatile morning still ahead of us.
Yeah, that's coming up here in about an hour and 40. Well, yeah, sorry, I'm getting confused between Eastern and Central again. 10 o'clock Eastern time is when that's triggering, so in about 45 minutes. Um, who knows what that's going to be? I'm assuming a crapshoot. Regardless of what the decision is, it could rip up and down either way. But just real quick on the ranges here, obviously we're up pretty high now again. We're above the prior day's range. We're in the top kind of 20 percentile of the 5-day range, and obviously we're above the overnight range. So no, not fertile ground here by any means. Quite barren for failed breakdowns. So don't go chasing market regime. Buy the dip continues. Yesterday we dipped into the more well overnight last night, held the flag back test perfectly and then recovered the kind of the range support 35, or held the range support from the prior day. It's moved up a little bit now to 45. So yeah, I mean, this is 4 hour. We had a little bit of a break of structure here, but by the dip is generally continuing on up. So yeah, really nothing to do here. Just keep an eye on Adam's tweets as new structure develops. I think the 76 level is certainly of interest, but he hasn't noted that as a level to watch for traps. So I think the first one down right now is the 64 level still. But the volatility, if we do get volatility from the news, I mean, that could rip back down to the 35 level in a matter of half an hour or an hour or something. So just sit tight. Definitely don't be chasing up here. I think the first level to engage is the 64. This isn't like one of Adam's planned entries, but if we were to hold the 64, maybe the 76 recovery is a very lower quality entry.
Well, we have a nice set of lows here now, around 64. So that would constitute as kind of your first failed breakdown here of the day in terms of opportunities on the way down. And then obviously, we have another shelf at just a little bit above 55. That's also kind of sitting there from some of the lows we made last night. There's a little bit of a three-touch kind of structured shelf sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, we have the 49 still even below that in terms of a low. And then obviously the big one being 35, which at this point is yesterday's low. So there are quite a bit of lows below us in terms of structures to watch. As always, we're not going to know which one to engage in. So we're just going to have to see and react to whatever price does and, play it that way. So no need to predict of like, hey, is it going to be this one that puts in the failed breakdown? Is it going to be another one? Like we don't know. So we're going to have to just kind of watch and see what price ends up doing. And just, I would say, whatever you see in front of you is what you can play. But as always, I like to on Fridays always remember that, you don't want to turn, if you've had a good week, you don't want to turn that green week into a red week. So, protect your weekly profits. If that means sizing down a little bit, that's something that I usually do on Fridays just to make sure that I can still just end my week green. So whatever that may mean for you, you want to make sure that you don't blow it all on the last day of the week here.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Definitely these levels here, 64, 56, the London low. This is a kind of complex zone now, so definitely size down on those for Friday, and just because they are generally lower quality. If we do get down to 35, that's a pretty good trade there. I think Adam even noted it as high quality. So yeah, that's kind of the game plan for today. If you're flat up here, don't worry, just sit tight, wait for the volatility to come in. Okay, with that, I'm not sure there's anything else to add. We'll catch you in the Discord. And yeah, be safe out there, everyone.
Alrighty, guys.
Yep. See ya.